and welcome back to another video. So, if you've been watching my channel for a long time, you know I'm a purveyor of the weird. I like weird shit. I like games that are bizarre, make no sense. The people would sit there and go, why? So, what I've done is I thought I'd take a look at 6 games. 6 games from across my connection and suggest you play them. So this was actually inspired by Super Pants Gaming, who watched an old video of mine from a very long time ago where he... Why can't I see it? That's always helpful, especially when you want to talk about a particular game. There we go. He said he saw this game, saw me talk about Giant Sitters and Kabuto on my channel a long time ago, and he decided to pick it up, which is really cool. So kudos to you, buddy, on this front. So what I decided I would do is I would go through the collection, all 2,000 games, 2,000 games, and I would pick out some that I think are worth actually playing, to a degree, to various degrees. So nobody's gonna like all the games on this list, like, unless you're me. But yeah. So we'll start with the 6th gen stuff, and then there's like a 7th gen game, and then because 6th gen was, for me at the very least, the last real generation where you got stuff that was like, what the fuck were you thinking? Which fuels a lot of this. This is sort of like episode 1. I will be doing more episodes on this because I've just got too many games to talk about in one video. 6 or 7 is already kind of too many. So we'll talk about Giants another time. I'm not talking about it today because I want new stuff. I want new stuff for people to check out that they might not have already. So we'll start with an old attempt at an old mascot. Blinks the Time Sweeper, specifically the second one, because whilst the first one is perfectly fine, the second one adds something different. So Blinks 1, you play as Le Cat, you play as Blinks, and you have the ability to control time. So you've got slow-mo powers, rewind, fast forward, makes you faster, recording stuff allows you to do a clone, blah, 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 blah. Very cool. However, the second game came along and went, hey, what if we took that concept, remove the ability to play as Blinks. You can't play as Blinks at all. Instead, you play as either another Time Sweeper cat that you can create who look absolutely ridiculous. You can make them like stick thin with giant heads and giant fucking thighs, and it's weird, man. It's very weird. And what if we threw in the ability to play as a pig, who can control space-based technology. So, for example, you have the ability to create black holes. There's one where you can literally make a hole in the ground, Bugs Bunny style, jump into it, and appear back at a certain checkpoint, which is kind of crazy. And then what if we added 4v4 multiplayer, which is completely insane. Is completely insane because you can just jump into these. You can jump into these various multiplayer maps as either the pigs or the cats. Yeah. No, I can't remember the name of the pigs exactly. I think it's the Tom Tom Gang. That's it. So even the manual, like, you've got Blinks, and it's like, oh, cool, cool, cool. It's a reverse manual, like literally. You've got like the Blinks stuff. You got like the Time Sweeper stuff, but when you get to the pig bit, it looks like it's been ripped out for the time controls, and then it just jumps straight into basically them nicking the manual, which I love that. This is exactly why this is kind of why I recommend Blinks 2 over Blinks 1. Blinks 1's fine. It's okay. Fairly standard generic platformer with some cool time-based shenaniganry going on. But the second game has multiplayer. It's got bosses. You get to play as pigs. There's like whole stealth sections where you have to free someone as a pig, and it's just very weird, very strange, bizarre little game. play both if you want. The Nitro Rad did. I think he talked about both of them back when he was actually uploading. Shame he's not. I think that's the pity, but here we are. It's the way of the world. Moving on. So yeah, we're not just talking about 3D platformers, although there isn't a single other 3D platformer in here apart from those two. Bomberman Hardball. Bomberman made a sports game. Now, this is at a time where Hudson was still technically around before they were bought out by... Who owned Hudson now? Konami, I think. I think Konami owned Hudson. They went, hey guys, we know that like Mario Golf is popular, but what if we did Wii Sports before Wii Sports came out? Yeah. 2005, you've got classic Bomberman, because you can't have a Bomberman game without Bomberman, but also Bomberman Tennis, Bomberman Golf, and Bomberman Baseball. So they took all those separate Mario franchises and shoved them into one game, and you know what? It is just as kind of shit and weird as you'd think it would be. A lot of it's half-baked, but a lot of it's actually really fun, and it works in the whole explosion thing quite well. So yeah, I mean, I saw this in a CEX like 2 years ago, and I was like, what? What the shit? Okay. It's like £2. I'm not going to complain about that. So, yeah. Maybe play Bomberman Hardball. It's kind of bizarre. However, the king of weird shit on weird consoles from 6th generation wasn't the PS2, despite some of the weird crap that's on there. It was the GameCube. Especially the GameCube. And the GameCube is going to feature very heavily in these videos. But I figured I'd start with the last fully published Nintendo console, Nintendo game on the GameCube that isn't Twilight Princess, and a game that is from Japan and very strange, and that is Kururin Squash. Now, I love Kururin Squash. It's basically what would happen if you had top-down Monkey Ball, except unlike Monkey Ball, cowlick. No. Awful. Terrible. Stupid hair. Alright. Korean Squash, you basically control this little spinning vertical bird thing as you navigate a series of courses, and each course has something slightly different, kind of. So, for example, you can get one that allows you to dive underwater. I think there's one that allows you to fly briefly. There's one that gives you boxing gloves on the side of your craft. But in general, yeah, it is an exercise in fiddly. It is definitely an exercise in fiddly. It is a hell of a nightmare, but it's so charming, and you don't need to know Japanese to play this, unlike a lot of games on the GameCube, which is a shame because I had that book in here earlier. There it is. Actually came across Korean Squash in this, which is the GameCube anthology by Math Manent. I guess he's a tree man. That's a very low-cut joke. But yeah, I found Korean Squash in here, and I was like, the fuck is this? Okay, gonna grab that. Let me see if I can find it. Killer 7, about Killer 7 years ago. There you go, right at the end of K. Korean Squash. Ding ding. So that gives you, there you go. So you navigate these little courses as this sort of spinning propeller bird in a craft, and all the cutscenes are like they're like puppets. They're like paper puppets, which is kind of fun, and it's just so blisteringly charming. I can't help but recommend it. I've rather luckily over the last few years gained a GameCube that lets me play region-free shit. So Korean Squash is one I regularly go back to. In fact, I've got the GameCube hooked up in the living room at the moment, and I've been playing it quite extensively. Another game that I have not played extensively, yet I have been meaning to play extensively, is one that the Camo Bot did a video on a while ago, well, a few days ago actually, from the recording of this video. I think about a week, whatever. And that is on probably the weirdest, Odama. Yes, Odama. Odama for the original GameCube. Yeah, how to explain Odama? Basically, Odama is a pinball strategy game where you have a giant, like, 8-foot sized ball of just pure metal that these paddle guys are pinging across the map to kill off enemy soldiers and your own soldiers if they get in the way. Meanwhile, your soldiers are controlled with the GameCube microphone, which plugs into the GameCube memory slot too. Weird game. Weird game. Super weird game. There's even a boss fight where you fight a giant guy whose head is this giant-headed fucker on a spider body. And it's so strange and ludicrously hard. It's insanely difficult. I am crap at Odama. Yet. Do I recommend Odama? I do. Strictly because it is so bizarre. You'd almost be missing out if you didn't try this out. It's by... his name escapes me. We recommend you do not use the GameCube microphone for extended periods or if you have any kind of throat or voice ailment, which, thanks. No duh. This game, during development, specifically at E3, I think it was, had a, it's not going to tell me who made it, is it? Oh, Ute Saito. So if you know that name, which I'd be surprised if you did, probably one of the more obscure auteurs in amongst the Japanese, that particular generation of developers, alongside people like Suda51 and Shinji Mikami and Masahiro Sakurai. He's the guy who made Don't Panic Seaman, which is a very weird game on the Dreamcast, which essentially allows you to interact with a virtual pet that's voiced by Leonard Nimoy. Pinball strategy game. Okay. I don't think he's been active. He might have been active. I don't know. He just kind of disappeared after Odama came out. I don't know what happened to him. I haven't looked. Probably will down the line. But yeah, weird man, weird game. Super recommend if you want to try something that is absolutely outside of anything you have ever played. Closest game I could think of it being is probably Rock of Ages by Ace Team, who I will probably cover Ace Team at some point. They do a lot of games where I'm like, what the do I have... No, I don't have Rock of Ages readily available. I won't show you. Basically, it's a giant pinball game. It's not even a pinball game. It's a skee ball game where you control the rock as it rolls down a hill and you blow up stuff, which is cool. Odama is about as close as I think to each other as they can possibly get. Last two games. So, we'll start with this one. Because I've got a bit of a history with this. It's not a particularly interesting history, it's just a history. So, I distinctly remember we were heading, I think my friends and I, or my family and I, were going to Thorpe Park in the UK. So Thorpe Park is a theme park, as I'm sure you would imagine if you're watching abroad. But specifically, we're going to Thorpe Park, and there's a big sort of entrance building. I don't know if it's still there. It might be. I haven't been for like 10, 15 years because I don't give a shit. But in there, they had a huge demo display for Boom Blocks, which is a game by Steven Spielberg, of all fucking people, because sure, why not? Occasionally Hollywood and occasionally like film developers will get in on making a game, and to be fair, for Steven Spielberg, it's not bad. Basically, you're just pinging these little cube bastards at buildings to blow them up, which is a lot of fun. But there was very specifically this demo disc, and the guy was like, "Oh yeah. Like demo disc will run out after like 6 months," and I was like, "What?" So I don't know where the fuck it went. It might still be at my family's house, but yeah, I had that demo disc for years, and then I finally decided to just pick this up because I was like, this always stuck in my mind. It's not bad, to be fair, and I'm not a big lover of the Wii. I cleaned out a lot of the Wii collection last year, because I just don't play it, because I don't like its controls. I really, really don't. But in the case of Boom Blocks, it actually works very well. And yeah, I mean, it had single player, it had co-op, you could do versus, which was pretty cool. And then you could also share over the internet a lot of the towers you could build, which is kind of sick. It's a cool idea. It's just, I think they had another one. I think there was a follow-up called Boom Blocks Party, which I don't own because I don't play the Wii enough to actually give a shit. But yeah, so this sort of kind of was successful, kind of wasn't. It's worth playing if strictly because it's a Steven Spielberg game, which is just so bizarre. So very bizarre. So very bizarre. Which leaves us on our final game. So this is actually a more modern title. And I say modern, it came out 4 years ago. 5 years ago, actually. Yeah, that'll probably be the last one. Yeah, it came out about 5 years ago. And it started off as a Skyrim mod. And let me tell you, you can tell. You can tell when you play The Forgotten City. I love this game. I absolutely do. It's a game you really only play once. So you play it once. You play it once, and then you're kind of done. Because it's got this time travel mechanic, which a few games from this era sort of have copied in on. But I think Forgotten City just does it best because the writing is really solid, like really solid. It's about getting to know these characters and slowly piecing together how you dismantle the time loop. Like you do something similar in the case of Deathloop, but unlike Deathloop, you're not getting to know these characters. You're only really getting to know one character, which is the random bitch who keeps shooting you. And then you get to the end, she's like, "Oh, we could keep doing this forever," and then, so I just shot her in the face because I was like, no, stupid cow. So yeah, shot her in the face. Don't really feel bad about it. By contrast, Forgotten City discourages violence, heavily discourages violence, because whilst you can get a gun, literally right at the start of the game, you're given like an option, like basically you're exploring, you're stuck in a time loop in an ancient Roman city, which is underground, which is kind of crazy to begin with. But while you're down there, you're given the option of a multitude of different things. So, for example, you could be an archaeologist. That unlocks unique dialogue choices. You can have a gun. Just give you a gun. It will give you a gun, and yeah, but there's like you can sustain brain damage. Like you'll have brain damage, and whilst it will sort of prevent some dialogue choices, you're actually a lot sturdier. There is combat in this game. It's entirely kind of optional. You don't really have to do it, but you can just sort of run past all the enemies. It's not particularly hard. They're not particularly dangerous, and they're just basically these golden statues that come to life. But the general rule of thumb is you cannot commit a crime. So you can't kill anybody, you can't steal from anybody, you can't, you can lie though. You can lie. Well, you can't even lie. Can't even really lie. So people are omitting the truth, or they're just not telling you things, or they're phrasing it in a very particular way to basically fuck you over. And it's all about the city kind of reaching nearly this breaking point where somebody's going to do something stupid. Somebody's going to do something stupid and it's going to kill everybody because you break the rule. You break the golden rule, you're turned into a statue. Literally, the rest of the statues around the city come to life and start peppering you with arrows that turn you to gold. Which, oh shit. Now, you can die, which sort of ends the cycle. Or you can go through the rest of the game. So, yeah. Personally, I wish there were more endings. There's only about 5 or 6, which is a bit of a shame. But the way to get out, And the way you go about doing it is really cool. It is genuinely very cool. I'm a big fan. I think it's quite an engaging time, but it is a game you play once. Because once you've done it successfully, that's it. That's it. There's literally no reason to play it again. The other endings you get aren't as good as sort of like the golden route, if you want to call it that. But which is a shame. It's a shame. I kind of wish there were more. I just kind of wish there were more endings. I think this game could have been in development for like another 2 years, and I think they could have added a lot more to it. I'm excited to see what I think it's either Dear Villagers or Maximum Games. I think it's Dear Villagers. I think those are the guys who did the writing. They basically formed their own studio after making the mod, which is really cool. What I'm hoping is that they make another one, or they make another game that's just as interesting. I think it'd be really cool. But yes, those are a shitload of games that I do recommend. We will be doing another one. I don't know when. A few months down the line, maybe. But try these out. Try these out. To be perfectly honest with you, vast majority of these, not crazy expensive. I mean, I bought Career in Squash for like 18 quid. Odama's probably the most expensive in this lot. This is about 42 on average. You need the microphone to play it. So you need the microphone. If you're going to try out Odama, do it that way. Yeah, that being said, if it's not your cup of tea, don't waste the money. But yes, that's me done for another week, and I will see you next time.